Hello everybody, my name's Simon Holden and I am a author, broadcaster, tipster and gambler. But one thing I also am is very interested in profitable tipping services. And I've been asked to have a look at a service called Bankers and Jackpots, which is on the Surewin platform, and to have a little talk with the man behind it, Mr. Mick Cammish, find out a little bit more about the service and why I think it's one you should seriously think about getting involved in. So let's do that. Here's the man himself, Mick Cammish. How are you, my friend?
I'm okay, thank you, Simon. How are you?
Yes, very well, very well. As you can see, I'm in a more horse racing environment than you, even though it is only a picture. But now, Bankers and Jackpots, let's strip this down. I'm going to just give you some stats for the service at the time of recording, which I think are quite startlingly good, so congratulations on them. And that's you've had 836 selections, 247 of those have been winning bets, which gives you a best odds guaranteed profit of 512 points. So they are industry leading figures, so well done on those, Mick. So let's come to the actual breakdown of the service, where you have obviously a banker and jackpot. So how do you go about looking for a banker bet?
Well, my banker bet, bizarrely, I don't do every day. The jackpots bit is a daily basis. The banker bets is more selective. And it's just, there's a lot of it is gut feeling, to be honest, Simon, because I can go 2, 3, 4 days without doing a banker before making the selection. But the basis for it is the basis for all the other bets. It's looking at what I think, looking at the form, looking at the value, pay a lot of attention to horses for courses. Big thing with me, you know, certain courses I do better on than others, I'll be quite honest. You know my nickname, the Catterick King, as you've called me occasionally in the past. A lot of people don't touch it with a barge pole, one of my favourites, because I think certain horses perform better at certain courses, and I think it's often not factored in enough into the betting. So that's one of the key things I look at. I like to make sure I'm backing a horse that I think will be suited by the course and condition. You know, all the normal things apply, but it's just maybe using experience, knowledge, and, you know, sometimes you just go with your gut. I have to say it.
Well, I know the Catterick King is one of the names you've been called in northern betting circles, shall we say. Now, it's very strange you should mention that, because one of the big buzzwords in tipping and betting in general is swimming against the tide, betting in areas, betting in particular style of bets that other people don't. Now, you've mentioned Catterick there, but that may be a course a lot of punters may overlook, which of course mean that it might be underbet and undervalued. But the other thing is, you also do with the jackpot section 4 smaller win bets each day, plus a lucky 15. Now, this is what I want to ask you. A lot of, shall we say, highbrow punters and tips have always looked down on combination bets, but these figures show that that is somewhat of a mistake. And what was attracted you to the lucky 15 as a bet, and shall we say more like combination bets in general as part of your armory?
Okay, I could go into the history of it. My background, one of my first ever big bets when I was working in a factory, 2,500 men, and used to take the betting slips to the betting shop on your behalf. And I had 2.5p bets. That's how far back it was. 33 to 1 shot, 25 to 1 shot, 16 to 1 shot, 12 to 1 shot, 9 to 2 shot won. £2,500. The last one, if it had won, would have been £60,000, which I could have bought in the area I live in, about 6 or 7 houses at the time. And from that point on, all right, it was, you know, and this is the only horse I remember from those. It's the one that got beat, Covent Garden, for those who can remember that far back. So, I got into it from an early days. But my thing was, like a lot of punters, I've done all the reading, I've done all the research, and he tells you, you know, the way to do it is you single bet, be selective, all the rest of it, which I understand the mathematics of that completely. However, it never suited my temperament particularly, because I'm not the person who's going to wait 3 days to have a bet. It's just not me. Some people it is. All, good luck to them. They are better people than me. I'm not like that. I'm in many ways, I like to have a bet every day. It's my failing in many ways, if you like it that way, but it's also my strength. It means I'm involved all the time. And because it's in my nature, I like to try and, I'm not trying to eke out a small profit each day. What I like to do is I like to wake up each morning thinking I might win big. It's, that's what I'm in it there for in that way. So I've always done that. And then in particular, I come up, if you manage to get a lucky 15 and you got a bookmaker, it's often you treble odds the winner. I think the mathematics is slightly come back the other way, because it means you can put your lucky 15 on. It means if you get one winner, you're not losing all your stake, which you were on your old Yankee and all the rest of it, and you're unlucky. If you get one good price winner, you're in profit. And if you suddenly get two, whatever it is, suddenly the old heart's beating, you got the excitement going, and that's what I'm in it for, as much as anything else. It's not just about the money. I love the horses, I love the racing, but I love the possibility of pulling off a good stroke. And for me, and looking around, this is the way to do it. I'm not, we don't have to be punting out mega books on this. It's what we do to keep us interested. And that's another factor as well. Again, it's about psychology. Some people, as I say, they can watch racing every day, simulate all the form, have no interest in it, and be able to take it all in. For me, if I even have a small bet on it, and this is where maybe I'm different to some other people, A, it gives me an interest, but B, it makes me watch the race more closely, and sometimes it's the losers that get you the winners later on, and it's because I've been watching the race closely. Whereas again, as I say, some people, maybe they can do it. I can't. I couldn't watch racing all day just trying to find a winner 3 months down the line. It's not in my psychology. It's not the way I operate. So basically it works for me. And, as the stats you've quoted show, it can work for other people as well. It's not impossible. And as I say, in the lucky 15, if you can get the treble odds, double odds is not too bad. Treble odds is happy times, as far as I'm concerned. I think, if you know what you're doing, you can get treble odds on a single winner. You're on to at least making sure you're keeping any losses fairly low, with a chance of winning big every so often, and then at the end of the time you're in profit. That's how I see it.
Well, yeah, and I have to say, folks watching this, that since this service has begun, Nick has landed this lucky on no less than 3 occasions. So that's 3 jackpot payouts. So the way I look at this service in putting this together is that you've got a steady accumulation of profits with bankers when you see them, and some of these can be decent prices. So people, if you're thinking of joining this service, you're not going to find odds on shots as bankers by any means, but then the accumulation of profits with these steady win bets, but that chance that we're all looking forward to, we're always looking forward for, rather, of the big win and putting the odds and the profits in our favor. So what I would say looking at this is that you appear to have hit on a formula, and I think it's one that people should think very seriously. And for those people who think accumulator bets are in the bookies' favor, I think 512 points profit would show that does not have to be the case. Would you agree, Mick?
Yeah, it's obviously, like any bet, it's about the selections, and at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. But as I say, it's also about what suits you as a punter. You've got to take that into account. If you are a Saturday only punter, and you'll have some people saying, don't bet on Saturday races because it's too competitive. I understand that. I see where they're coming from, but it's not. As far as it's not the game as far as I'm concerned. If you only have one bet during the week, I'm going to put it on the best racing on the Saturday, even if it is the most competitive, because that is the way my mind works. That's what gets the old heart thumping for me. And it's, I dispute, some of the cases they make complete. They might say it's the most competitive. It doesn't matter. Every race has got a winner if you can find it, and it might be that there's more. There's more value there to be had. Just because of the nature of the race. Whereas some of the smaller tracks, some of the smaller races, it sometimes feels like there might be. Sometimes it feels like the race is known the result is known in advance. Simon, I don't know if you've ever come across that, but you just
only at Catterick for me. This service, you are flat, jumps, all weather the works, I take it, mate.
Yeah, just because that's the nature of, say, what I'm doing. I'm all year round, as it were, that one. Again, just getting on one of the things, you'll find quite a lot of don't touch the all weather. Or I know, you'll see even in write-ups saying, no, I don't normally bother with the all weather. I do not understand that mindset at all. Yes, I'll accept that the racing is lower quality, but what do you have? Well, you have only a couple of courses, so the configurations are the same. The going is largely standard. It's largely the same horses running over the same distance. You've got natural advantage there. If you go something like Southwell, for example, Wolverhampton as well, but basically you've got horses running flat out all the way, and how fast they can run. If you do anything about speed ratings, times, and the rest of it, you pretty much know where the horses are going to finish, approximately. There's not a lot of leeway between them, between their ratings and what they're going to do. They're not going to be ridden differently. There's not going to be any ground deterioration, anything like that. You've got horses running to the same level pretty much all the time. And I think that's to the punter's advantage rather than the disadvantage. Coming back to my courses thing, what I said about Catterick, which I like and other people don't, similar applies to places like Chester, for example, horses for courses, belief and theory, if you like. Some people say, oh, I don't like Chester, it's bad luck in running. I don't. I see it as a huge advantage. If you've got a horse suited by the course, well drawn, pings, the stalls, hallelujah, as far as I'm concerned, that gives you a big advantage. I know it might be factored into the price, we all have to be aware of that, but it isn't always, because not everybody is working that way. I'm just saying, I think there's some courses you have, as a punter, you have an advantage over other places. That's as far as I'll go. And if I mentioned the all-weather, I'll say the place you don't, that's Lingfield. That's because it doesn't ride like an all-weather track for me, because they're going slowly, then quickening up, which alters the things. If you go to Southwell, the horses are going as fast as they can all the way. There's no sudden change of pace there. There's no horse going to suddenly come flying past you with a acceleration. They don't have it. You know how fast those horses can run, pretty much. It's an advantage. So that's where, that's one of the things I will very happily back on, whereas I know other people won't. It's just a personal thing. Again, I'm not knocking anybody else for wherever they go. Whatever works for you, I'm fine with that. Other people have different methods, which is brilliant, because that's what makes the market, that's what makes value. If we all had the same opinion and the same view, there'd be no point betting, would there? We don't as well give up.
This is true. This is true. So what I would say is, folks, if you're out there and you're looking for a service with big profits, with a sharp mind behind it, with a big knowledge of courses, with a big knowledge of the way tracks ride, and a knowledge of how to put together the Lucky 15 in the right way, which is often misunderstood by a lot of punters and tipsters, how to put a combination bet together, then I would say Bankers and Jackpots is a service you should take very, very seriously and have on your list. So thank you for taking us through some of your thinking, Mick, and telling us about the service, and all the best for the future.
And you, Simon, all the best.